Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Julia and this is your weekly dose of mindful tarot coaching. 3 questions, 6 cards, several interpretations. As always, I invite you to listen carefully, pick up what resonates and create your own meaning following your intuition. Before I get into that, I would like to very quickly promote the questionnaire that you can post it below. It is a very quick questionnaire. It doesn't take more than 10 minutes to fill in, and I would like to kindly ask you to fill it in. It would be a great help for me. And your prize, in case you are lucky, is a 90 minutes personal tarot coaching session with me. So grab this chance and go for it. All right, this was the promotion part, and now we can get to the point. All right, if I have to sum the next week in some words up, I would say karma, responsibility, and conscious creation. The main significator of the week is the Justice card reversed. The Justice is all about karma, law of attraction, growing up, taking responsibility, cause and effect, and the like. And therefore it is also pretty much about having certain concepts and paradigms in our head regarding something, acting and thinking accordingly in a way, and therefore creating a certain form, a way of reality for ourselves. This card draws our attention of the importance of taking responsibility in our lives. And therefore, this gives us a very hard lesson, especially given that it has come up reversed. In its reversed position, it tells me that chances are that the next week we are going to face some bad situation or some bad karma that makes us think and ask, what did I do or think? In what way have I contributed to this situation? This is one way to go. Another possible interpretation is that it can be that something or someone is going to be judged too hard. So it's also a good idea to make sure you are not being too hard on yourself or others. This is another thing. And last but not least, again, it can be that we are kind of trying to avoid responsibility in a certain situation. And this is going to be a super interesting aspect, as we will see soon. But first, let's take a look at the complementary card, which is the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles is about change. The constant change. And given that we have pentacles here, it is pretty much about business, money, work, and the like. So chances are that the next week we are going to have to manage some changes in the schedule, in business, in work, etc. And it requires us to remain flexible and to adjust our agenda accordingly so that we can stay on track. Another super interesting interpretation of this card, together completing this other card, is the following. I think that this card refers to the loops that we are creating for ourselves. We all have those circles, I'm sure. We all have those loops that are repeating themselves, and these two cards together are referring to these loops. So chances are that the next week we are going to have the opportunity to face them, to observe them, and in case we are ready to do the work and for doing some change, then also maybe cutting them and creating new ones that are better for us. I love this. This is super promising. Now let's take a look at the next column, which is all about the risks and opportunities. And what we have here is a reversed Judgment. The Judgment is all about rebirth and renewal. It is about being very close to ending a circle and starting a new one. And what we have here is a very strong calling from this angel to do the necessary self-reflection work in order to be able to release the past and to move on. This self-reflection work, this purging process, is a super important aspect of this card, and this is something that we cannot really avoid. However, given that this card has also come up reversed, I assume that we may try to resist this calling. We may try to ignore it. We don't want to listen because it's too unpleasant what it may bring up. So chances are that we are not ready for doing this work because it's that unpleasant, and chances are that we try to avoid some kind of responsibility that it raises. So make sure that you don't do this, because if you do so, you may miss some great opportunities, and you may miss the opportunity of understanding yourself and your life much better. This card is completed by a reversed 10 of Wands. And the 10 of Wands is pretty much about also responsibility and taking the burden, right? We see here this guy who has been working very hard, and now he is taking the fruits of his labor to the market to sell it. And it also means that once you have reached something, once you have did this and that, you also have to live with the consequences and take the responsibility that it is creating for you. Well, given that this card has come up reversed and it completes a reversed judgment, I would assume that, chances are that we are going to try to avoid this responsibility again, right? It can be that it's going to be out of balance, and it can go several ways. It can be that, as we have seen here, we are maybe too hard on ourselves and we take responsibility for things that are actually not our responsibility. So make sure that you don't take the burden or the package of others. However, make sure that you take yours, right? So it's really pretty much about separating my shit and your shit and take only yours. So again, this card shows that it is going to be very important to take that responsibility that is yours, nothing more and nothing less. And again, together with the judgment, taking a look at your shit, taking a look at your past, at your story, facing it, going through this process and see again, what have you did, what have you said to create this situation where you are at the moment. Well, now, last but not least, let's take a look at the advice. And this is where it gets even more interesting. Because what we see here, what we have here is a magician. And the magician is the conscious creator in the tarot deck. And therefore, it is pretty much in sync with everything we have discussed so far. The magician is a very potent, strong male impulse. As you can see, this guy here is connecting heaven and earth. And he is the one who is indeed manifesting everything that he has put into his mind. And he does this by drawing upon different skills and tools, mixing and matching them in a way that helps him to create whatever he wants. So again, he is the conscious creator, and it also means that he knows that whatever he says or does is going to find his way back to him. So again, what goes around comes around. I would like to quickly refer here to this endless symbol here, what we have already seen here, right? If you observe that you can catch this symbol on both cards. And again, this tells me that this week is going to be pretty much about observing your loops and approaching them in a conscious way and cutting them and changing them if necessary in a conscious way. So again, we have here a very strong invitation from the magician to take responsibility for our lives and to start to create it in a conscious way, right? That creates good loops and good karma for us and for others as well. And now, last but not least, we have here a reversed Four of Swords as a complementary card from the Minor Arcana. And the Four of Swords is basically the card of contemplation, right? It is about hitting the pause button, stepping back, or maybe even laying down, as you can see, meditating about something, taking a break, and creating the time and space for this self-reflection work that we have already seen here as a necessary thing to do. So again, this is about creating the time and space for this, and to really reflect about things and understanding them before moving in your agenda and before getting into action again, right? So this is what is this card about. And again, this is a super important break to take, because otherwise you are not really know where you are and what is the really next right move, right? Well, the thing is that this card has come up reversed, and therefore I see here a very strong invitation to create this space and time for yourself so that you can do this self-reflection work. Because again, this is what is going to help you to understand your past, your patterns, and this way making sense out of them and changing them. And last but not least, if I take this reverse card as an invitation to get back to the previous card in the sequence, then I am going to end up with the Three of Swords, right? And you may remember that the Three of Swords is pretty much about experiencing those difficult emotions like trauma, stress, anger, grief, disappointment, and the like. And therefore, it is a very interesting reference back again to this, and it invites us to again go through these feelings, process them instead of trying to avoid them, because in case you process all this, you can make sense out of it, you can find peace with it, and then you can leave the past behind and create new, better looks for yourself. I love this. I love how this all comes together. And now, last but not least, let me quickly show you the whole constellation and sum it up. So again, the next week, karma and creating our loops is going to be the main topic. We are going to have the opportunity to take a look at our life, at our karma, and to face the loops that we are creating and ask the question, what is my responsibility in this? This is the main question here. And a very important job is going to be to answer this calling instead of ignoring it. Do this very, I know, I understand, do this very, yes, sometimes painful self-reflection work. Take a look at your patterns, take a look at your life, understand the patterns, realize them, and realize your own responsibility in all this, and take this responsibility, nothing more and nothing less. In order to do so, again, time and space is going to be needed, and if you can do so, you can become the master of your life. So if you understand that you are the creator of your life, then you can move on, you can renew and create new loops for yourselves. So to sum it up in one sentence, you become the conscious creator of your life if you realize your responsibility and take it. Well, it is not an easy task, but a very interesting one. Of course, this is my interpretation. I am super curious about yours. You can write about it down in the comment section. I'm looking forward to reading it all. Thanks a lot for showing up. Thanks for your attention. I wish you a great week. See you next week again. Till then, take care of yourselves. Ciao.